Hello? Is there anyone out there? Is anyone listening? Welcome. This is Dear Aliens. I am your host, Molly, your resident Four Eyes. You can call me Arthur from Brain if you please. OTP with Sprite from McDonald's and your storyteller for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in to find out which topics make me want to get beamed up. They might seem a little bit random today, but I have a lot to say. And because I have so much to say, I only have two main topics. And today we are talking about board games. Now, let's talk about the go-to games. I'll just go straight into it. Monopoly and Life. Like if you're thinking about classic board games, those are the first two that come to my mind. And listen, if we're going to be playing Monopoly, I will be cheating. Like if there's one thing about me, it's that I'm going to be cheating during Monopoly. Whether it's classic, whether it's credit cards. If it's credit cards, I am definitely cheating. If I'm the banker, I am absolutely cheating to the point that most of my friends and my entire family will not play board games with me because they're like, you always cheat. Yeah. Like, why don't we make it a game? How about, like, if you catch me cheating in Monopoly, I give you one of my Monopoly $20. Then it's like a game for everyone. I'm still going to try to cheat no matter what, and you can make money if you catch me cheating. Like, everyone wins. That sounds like a great compromise to me. But the game Life, like, when I was in high school, I felt like an adult when I was playing Life. Like I loved having my little car, you put your people in, you get your job. But I always like hated my job. I always wanted to like be the movie star and like obviously have a ton of money. And I always ended up being like a garbage man. Or they were like, you work as a secretary. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I guess that's life. But thank you to my two friends who always play Life with me. You know who you are. The next time we get together, let's play some Life. No joke. But let me tell you, well, Monopoly and Life might be like the go-to classic games for me. You know what was the Hunger Games of board games? Scrabble. I grew up with these family friends, and Scrabble was so intense. Like, no, I'm not playing. Like, these people, it was cutthroat. Have you seen Cutthroat Kitchen? Imagine if you applied the chaos that is Cutthroat Kitchen to a game of Scrabble, like to the point where like I couldn't even play with them because I did not have the vocabulary. We tried to play Word for Friends. I ended up in tears. Like, this is not what we're doing. So like when you would play Scrabble with this family, they are dropping words that are worth no less than at least 60 points. When you are ending up with points in the 400s, oh, now to this day, like when my immediate family, when it's me, my mom, and my brother playing Scrabble, first of all, my mom is always losing on purpose because she knows that both of her kids are sore losers. So we both want to win. And if we lose, we get upset. And yes, the board has been flipped multiple times. Like you just can't go wrong with board games. And it's the perfect name. I was thinking about this the other day when I was like, I think I want to talk about board games. It's like, what do you do when you're bored? And people are always like, play a game. Like, it's just the most genius, basic name. Okay, and speaking of basic, let's go back to childhood. The board games that we played when we were little hit like none other. Like, they were simple. Like, does anybody remember Hi Ho Cherry-O? You would literally put little cherries on the tree and then you would spin a dial and it would pick like a number 1 through 4, and then you would take that many cherries off and put them into your little colored bucket. That was the entire game. But I used to go so hard at this game. Sometimes my brother and I, it would just be the two of us. And yes, you could play with just two people and two trees. No, we would be like the first person to clear 2 trees wins. Like it was always a race. Or we would like time it and see who could clear all 4 trees the fastest. I don't know if anyone else did that, but like that was my competitive edge. Like I did not feel competitive sports wise basically my entire life. I'm not very interested in competition or competing, but if we are playing a board game, I'm taking it a little bit way too serious. I'm not gonna lie. But this is my favorite board game. I haven't played it in years, but she is the OG. She is my queen. And you know what? I'm going to have to buy a copy actually, because I do want to play it. And it is Candyland. Candyland was the game of games. Why don't we have a Candyland movie? Literally, someone make it happen right now. Like the cast. Okay, let's talk about Candyland. Let's do a breakdown. So you get into Candyland, you pick your gingerbread shaped person, and where do you go? You go straight through Plumpy and his gingerbread plum trees. Do you remember those? Can anybody else picture those? Because I can picture it perfectly. Because up next, you can either scoot across the Gumdrop Pass. Yo, that was the yellow brick road. Like, tell me it was not. Like, as a child, like, if you hadn't seen The Wizard of Oz, like, you were like, I want to be on the Gumdrop Pass. Like, that is golden brick, let me tell you. Or you had to go past Mr. Mint in the Peppermint Forest. Ooh, I used to be like, okay, Mr. Mint is nice, because up next, oh my gosh, Lord Licorice of the Licorice Forest, that man is a vampire. Like, as a child, I knew that was a vampire. That was the first time I was like, that is what a villain looks like. And you go straight, skip on from the Licorice Forest to the Peanut Brittle House. My brother was allergic to peanuts. No, he is allergic to peanuts. And when we would play this when we were younger, I would have him skip this entire section because I was like, oh, he has a peanut allergy. Like, this is like, he shouldn't even be in this area. I don't understand why my brain was like, yes, but I was just like, he has a peanut allergy. He cannot be playing in the peanut brittle area of this game. But it's like, you scoot past the peanut brittle house, and where do you end up? The Lollipop Woods, Princess Lolly. I can't believe I'm just now, in this moment, having the revelation that I should be Princess Lolly for Halloween. Now I need to add it to the list. Like, genius. That would be so cute. I wanted to be Princess Lolly so badly. Like, to me, she was like a gumdrop princess, and I don't know what that means, but it just like makes sense when I say it, because I was like, okay, I want to be Princess Lolly, but at the same time, like, I would die for Queen Frostine. Like, I'm not even kidding. That woman on the board, I was like, when I would think of queens as a child, I would think of Queen Frostine and Julie Andrews in The Princess Diaries. Like, I was like, that's what queens are. I had no idea what was going on in Europe. I had no idea about, the royal family. I was just like, when I think of queens, that's what I know. And I was like, baddies all around. And when you get past Queen Frostine, you know you are almost to the Candy Castle. But tell me why. Someone explain this, because this is shady. I'm not even going to lie. So to get to the Candy Castle, the last area you have to go through is the molasses swamp, going past Gloopy, and you're telling me the only brown character on this board lives in a swamp? I'm sorry, that just sounds like the plot of Shrek. That's all I'm saying. Kinda shady. Explain yourself. But once you get past, you are at the Candy Castle. And I don't think you understand. As a child, like, I remember being 5 years old and being like, what is the interior of the Candy Castle? No, like, seriously, who is their interior designer? I need to know what is going on inside of that castle. I just know that it's lit. And here's the thing. I feel like the closest I'm ever going to get to knowing what possibly the inside of the Candy Castle looks like on the Candyland board is Princess Bubblegum's palace from Adventure Time. Like, that might sound really obscure, but like, that's the closest and the only thing that my brain can like identify. It's like, that would make sense. If anybody wants to play Candyland with me, let me know, because It's a really fun game, and like I miss it and I want to play it more. Let's bring back board games, shoots and ladders. All right. We can talk about this more. Like, I want to find out what board games people were playing, what favorite board games people had, because I'm gonna jump ship. And just like sometimes you have to do when your ship is going down due to a shark attack, I want to talk about sharks. And here's the thing: when I'm swimming in a pool, like not a lake, not the ocean, not a river, like when I'm swimming in a pool, I will always think that a shark is coming to get me. Like, I'm always like, I'm about to be Bethany Hamilton. Like, I am terrified of being attacked by a shark in a pool. It doesn't make any sense at all. Absolutely irrational. But it's like the same thing applies because I also think like when I'm in the deep end, and by that I mean like 10 feet or deeper, I'm also like, an octopus is going to grab my leg and pull me under. And that probably might be, like on my almost drowning all the time stuff, but like I always think that like an octopus is gonna pull me under. It's a lot to go through, I'm not gonna lie. But I said Bethany Hamilton, and if we're gonna be talking about sharks, we definitely have to talk about shark movies, and we have to then talk about Soul Surfer. I saw Soul Surfer in theaters when it came out, and when that animatronic shark came up and bit Sophia Ann Robb, the actress who was playing Soul Surfer, when that animatronic shark came up and bit her arm off, I screamed. Like, there was a full yelp in the theater. There was one other person there, and I think they can attest, like, I was scared. I don't think she was scared. She was like, that was so fake. But I was like, oh my God, that took me, like, I'm afraid of the ocean. Like, I'm not afraid to go in the ocean, but I'm afraid of the things in the ocean, like seaweed and sharks, because oh my goodness. Okay, so I said before, I live on the East Coast, and we're going to be talking about sharks. We have to talk about Shark Week. There is a series on Shark Week called Return to the Shark Vortex, which, I'm sorry if that name doesn't scare you. It makes me incredibly nervous, and it's about the sharks battling for dominion in the New England waters. What? Like, I did not sign up for this. But like, now I'm like, okay, so obviously we're tuning in for Shark Week. Like, Shark Week is sacred. Like, if we're putting, I maybe might say that Shark Week is my 6th favorite holidays. Maybe one day we'll talk about holidays and how we rank them, because I know my list is incredibly unique and it rarely shares anyone else's list of favorite holidays. But like, Shark Week is a holiday. Like, tell me that like millions of us are not turning in, because like, we love sharks, but we're also, some of us, myself, are afraid of sharks. So it's like, okay, let's go through some like classic Shark Week moments. And if you haven't watched Shark Week, let me try to convince you. Like, this is me trying to convince you that like Shark Week is where it's at. And I am starting with the best thing, because we all know Steve Irwin. That man was an icon. I still will not get over it. I will not forgive stingrays. His son, Robert Irwin, so beautiful, amazing, talented photographer. Check his stuff out on Instagram. If you've seen Crikey, It's the Irwins, I would do an accent, but guys, I'm so bad at accents, you will never hear me doing an accent on here. Crikey, It's the Irwins is their TV show about them at the Australia Zoo, and it's amazing. Like, I literally cry watching every single episode because I'm so moved and so invested. So during Shark Week, Robert Irwin has a special called Crikey, It's Shark Week. And it's just him out there. He's down in his hiking boots. He's finding out about sharks. Like, it is so good. Like, if you just want to watch like the essence that is Steve Irwin live, Crikey, It's Shark Week is a must-have. And it's like, that didn't convince you? Okay, whatever. If you love reality TV, like competitive reality TV, if you're like, I love Survivor, I love Amazing Race, I love a Big Brother, have you heard about Shark Academy? The competition? so that you can be on the specialty shark science expedition. You got all these scientists. They're competing. They're doing lab stuff. They're doing physical dives. They are going out in nature. They are trying to get one with the shark. Ooh, competition gold. Not convinced? All right, here's another option. Air Jaws. Yep, you heard correctly. Air Jaws. It's where they judge. It's literally the high jump for great white sharks. So they judge how high the great white sharks can jump. I don't know how they get them to all come to the one area to jump. I also don't know how they get them all or a majority of them to jump. I understand how they're measuring it, kind of. No, I don't. But I'm sure it makes sense. But they're like, who's it gonna be this year? But it's like, how do they know? And do they know that they're competing? Because I assume that sharks are smart. I might need to find a marine biologist. I need my questions answered. But one thing, okay, so all of Shark Week is great. But here's something that I'm like, Shark Week, why did you do this to me? Why did you hurt me like this? So I am very afraid of going to Australia because Australia, I feel like everything there that's not a person is trying to kill you. Why are all of the animals, why are the birds swooping down towards humans to blind them? I just don't understand. And I'm like, I can't be taking that danger. And people are like, well, you wear glasses, you'll be fine. You don't think that a magpie could break through my glasses and now I have glass and magpie in my eye? No, thank you. But then on top of that, your bugs they are too large. And here's the thing. I'm not strong enough to see the bugs in the country that I live in. I think I will die of fright if I see a bug from Australia because they are so large. If I see a spider the size of my shoe, I will not be all right. I will be paralyzed from fear. I like I said, I might die of I feel like just thinking about seeing a bug in Australia makes me need therapy. So people are like, okay, if you're afraid of going to Australia. Okay, sorry, one more thing about Australia. Why are their bats so large? It's not right. It's not okay. What the heck? Okay, so you're afraid of going to Australia. People are like, we'll go to New Zealand because New Zealand is, the safer version. Obviously, different culture, different people, but similar in weather. They're like, go to New Zealand because the bugs aren't scary and so it sounds like a great time. But then I come to find out, because I'm watching Shark Week, there is a search for the largest shark currently alive in existence. And they're like, we think we have 2 of them. We're not sure which one is bigger, but there are definitely 2 that are way larger than all the rest. And it's like, cool. Why are these 2 largest sharks in the waters of New Zealand? My goodness. Can it go to the waters of Australia? And I get that there's water that touches both Australia and New Zealand, but go to the one side. Go to the in-between spot. Can you... I'm just trying to have a nice vacation. And now you're telling me that the 2 largest sharks in existence are in New Zealand? But you want to hear what the names are? So they're like, okay, who's it gonna be? And every year they're like, who got bigger? One of them is named Fred, and the other one is named Slash. No. Y'all, it's gone too far. We need to create an international naming committee because these names are getting out of hand. I really can't. Let me just give you a list of names that have recently come into existence. And by recently, I mean in the last 15 years. Apple, Summer, Moon, Honey. Yes, that is one name. Ocean, Hartford. These aren't real names. Navy, that's not a real name. I'm sorry. So we need to create a committee that is going to step in and be like, hey, sorry. When people had to step in when Elon Musk was like, I'm going to name my kid 46 different numbers. bro, your kid's name can't be in wingdings. Like, get it together. You're rich, but you're not rich enough to do that shit. Like, no one cares. These names are getting out of hand. That's the point of this. So they're like, well, which Shrek is bigger, Fred or Slash? Are you kidding me? I bet you know what? I want to be like, I hope it's Slash, but I bet you it's Fred. Fred just gives me the vibes. Also, it's Fred spelled with a PH. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. Worse, I decided. And like, well, I'm just like, thank you, Shark Week, for ruining my dreams of going to New Zealand and feeling safe about, swimming in the water. They will give a Shark Week special to anyone. I'm literally not kidding. Last year on Shark Week, they gave a special to Noah Schnapp, aka Will from Stranger Things. They gave a special to that pimple popping doctor, Dr. Pimple Popper, I think her name is. Yeah, she got a special. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know. Do sharks have acne? Is she popping their pimples? Let me know. I mean, if that's really what she was doing, cool, whatever. Those jackass guys, and by that, I don't mean like guys that are no, because I mean they are. Okay, like Steve-O and his crew who went by the name Jackass. Yeah, they got a special. I assume that they are riding sharks. That just only seems to be on brand for Jackass. Even though, like, is PETA gonna come for them for that? Because like shark cruelty and like they don't want to be rode. Because like, do dolphins want to be rode? That's weird. Moving on. They gave a special to Brad Paisley. Like, are we putting him in a shark cage, lowering him down, and like having him sing a few songs underneath there with his guitar? Like, I don't really understand. But you know who? But a good decision. They gave Snoop Dogg, a Shark Week special. Absolutely correct decision. If Snoop is there, I am watching. Snoop at the Olympics. Snoop with Martha Stewart. I guess Snoop at Shark Week. Like, bring him wherever you want. Snoop is always welcome. I feel like that should be like, I don't know, that phrase just really made a lot of sense. That will stick with me for a while. But like, Shark Week teaches you about the real sharks. But let me tell you, nothing will intensify your fear or maybe even give you a deeper love of sharks than shark movies. Like, okay, we'll talk about the classics real quick fast, because I want to talk about the ones that I want to talk about. We have our classics. Jaws, Deep Blue Sea, great. Classics. La 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 la. Moving on. Shark Tale. Tell me Shark Tale did not make you want to live in the ocean. Like, Finding Nemo, whatever. Like, Shark Tale, that music, the casting, that movie was sexy. Like, you can't tell me otherwise. And despite me being like, that movie was sexy, why did that movie also make you want to work in a car wash? Like, you were just like, working at the car wash. Like, tell me you didn't want to get in there. And I've never wanted to be a part of a car wash in my entire life. But something about that movie, I was like, that's my dream job. But also, like, tell me that, like, you can't prove me wrong. Like, everyone in the Shark Tale movie is black. Like, if we had to cast that like a live action, everyone would have to be black. Like, that would be the only thing that made sense in my mind. Like, okay, maybe the mafia sharks, I don't know. There can be negotiations. But like, and keep Will Smith. Like, that's all I have to say. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad about the slap. Sorry. Not sorry, actually. But like, shark movies that will take you to the edge, because like Shark Tale like lures you in and like gets you bopping, and you're like, all right, the ocean seems cool. No, The Shallows, starring Blake Lively, no, that makes you think that the ocean is filled with storms and death. Like, you have Blake Lively acting against herself, versing a shark. Oh my goodness. I was like, I really didn't know if there was going to be like a happy ending. And by that, I don't mean like something nice happens at the end. Like, I didn't know she was going to live to the end, because that movie takes you to the edge. It will have you being like, sharks are all predators and they do want to kill you. But then it's like, turn it on its head, and you've got The Meg with Jason Statham. The Meg as in the Megalodon. Y'all, if there truly is a shark as large as the Meg still on this earth, alive, moving, I hope I never find out. Like, really seriously, like, I hope I never find out. It is absolutely terrifying. And like, let's talk about it. The Meg hit it because it was like, biggest shark ever. And then it was like, oh no, it's not even the biggest shark. There's an even bigger shark. So now that we're coming up on Meg 2, The Trench, coming out next year on Shark Week, not an ad, but coming out next year on Shark Week, the Meg 2, The Trench, you're telling me that the Meg is still out there? That's the thing. Is like, if there's one, how many are there actually? Like, statistically, like marine biologists, statistically, how many other Megs would be out there if there is one? Because how did it get here? And like, sure, it's been living for a long time, but like, does it have parents? Does it procreate on its own? Does it lay an egg? Like, I don't know. Let me know. Like, but it's kind of like, I'm not here for dinosaurs. I'm not here for prehistoric water animals either. Like, I'm out. Because like 47 meters down, starring Mandy Moore, Claire Holt from H2O, Emma from H2O. This movie is taking you to the depths. Like, it is taking every adventurer to its worst fear in the water. It's like, I'm gonna be cool, I'm gonna go shark diving, I'm gonna get an experience. And what happens? Your shark cage falls to the bottom of the ocean and you literally are running out of oxygen. Are you kidding me? I was like, it was never really on my list to go in a shark cage, but now it's definitely off my list because, like, here's the thing, equipment malfunctions, and like, I am not resilient enough to survive that type of thing. I'm not strong enough, and I don't plan on it. Like, I can't. But the epitome of, like, when you think of sharks, and then you like think of shark movies, and if you are a shark movie lover, you have to be familiar with the Sharknado series, because that was an experience. That was a decade-long journey. Like, some of us, we were watching Harry Potter beginning to end. Some of us, we were on that High School Musical train, that Hunger Games train, the Divergent train that, went off the rails. But like, the Sharknado movies, like, that had some people, if you watch sci-fi, that movie probably had you by the throat. Like, we're talking about, like, just epicness. Like, thank you for your service. Cameos galore. You've got stacked actors, and by that I don't mean like talented actors. And that I'm not saying that they are untalented. I'm just saying that, like, they came to do a job, and no one, I think, could have done it better than them. Like, let's go on a journey. Let's go on a journey right now. We're gonna talk Sharknado 1, where the entire plot is, how do we get rid of a shark tornado? So they basically end up throwing a bomb into it to disperse the energy, because tornadoes are hot and cold air mixing together. So that diffused the energy. And then a bunch of chainsaws. Like, that's basically it. Like, you're like, blow it up and chainsaws. Great. Love it. Classic. And then they hit you with the second one. And now they're like, sharks in New York, sharks in the subway, chomp. Sharks in the baseball game, chomp. Even bigger chainsaws. Like, you would even forget that this movie had anything to do with, like, maybe the ocean or water, because it's like these sharks are just flying around through the air as if they had invisible wings. And the thing was after the second one, because they literally called the second one, they were like, well, now we have to have fun. Like, they realized that they needed to start memeing themselves. So they were like, okay, Sharknado 3, oh hell no. They're like, well, now we need to protect the president from the Sharknado. And now the Sharknadoes are wrecking everything across the eastern seaboard. NASCAR wrecked. Sharknadoes in space? Hell yeah. 2 words? Lightsaber chainsaw. That might be 4 words, but I'm pretty sure it's just 2 words. Lightsaber chainsaw. Does that make any sense? Like, and you're probably like, why does this have anything to do with sharks? That is a wonderful question. Because I can answer it by telling you about the fourth one, and it's called The Fourth Awakens. They were like, we really just have to get as out of pocket as freaking possible. We are talking, like, okay, so The Fourth Awakens, we're saying Star Wars, eat your heart out. Like, the first Sharknado was 5 years ago. Now we're in Vegas. And what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. Like, we're talking about Sharknadoes, Fire Nados, Oil Nados, Cow Nados. And like, most of these Nados have sharks in them. Cow Nado, that is just cows. Like, do you see what we're rocking with here? Like, when you have Abby Lee Miller getting eaten by a shark, like, I feel like that must have been very cathartic for the dance mom girlies, because like they have a lot to work through, like save those girlies, pay those girlies, like, and it's like they're doing therapeutic work, and then on top of that they're also still bringing in the world's biggest chainsaw. Like, they're like, we have to get bigger each and every single time. So they're like, okay, well, where do we go from here? You're gonna tell me Sharknado, global swarming, global Sharknadoes? Finn's son, the main character, his son time travels. Now we have a shark tidal wave. Fabio is the Pope. Like, Tara Reid is now a robot. Like, does anyone know what's going on? And as someone who has fully experienced this multiple times, you're still get to the point where you're like, wow, sharks seem like a problem. So it's like you go through all these things, and like, here's the thing: I can't even touch this whole Fabio as the Pope, because I don't understand. It's just because he's beautiful, but like, show me a beautiful Pope, not dissing the Pope. Moving on. Okay, the last Sharknado, they call It's About Time, and it's like that hits for so many reasons. Like, it's about time that it's ended. It's about time that, like, I don't know, anything. So like, they're like, it's about time. No, they're like, literally, it's about time. So now they're time traveling. Don't forget, Finn's son time traveled in the last one. So now, where are we time traveling to? Camelot, the Wild Wild West, Jurassic times. Take two, back to Egypt. Now it's like we have to turn back time, go back to the first ever Sharknado, and then stop the first ever Sharknado from happening, so that no other Sharknadoes happen. And yes, does that negate the previous 5 movies that we just watched? Yes, absolutely. But thank you for coming to my TED Talk on Sharknado. Because if there is one thing I can guarantee you, is that in every Sharknado movie, other than providing you sharks and tornadoes, at least one person will be surfing a shark through the air or through the Sharknado. Like, that is something I can absolutely promise. Someone is always surfing their shark through the air. Sharks, Sharknado, board games, you know, they all have one thing in common. And it is just that they kind of make me want to get beamed up. Like, they're ridiculous, but at the same time, they still bring a lot of laughs. So, like, it made me laugh. I hope it made you laugh. I hope it made you chuckle. Even just a smile works for me. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're listening up there, my address is 4 Privet Drive, and you can find me in the cupboard under the stairs.